And welcome to the East County Sports Report. Dave, a big sigh of relief as we reflect on the last year of, well, you tell me. We've waited a long, long time, and we just want to get out there and play some football. We're very thankful that all the sports have started to come back here at the high school level. We've seen golf, cross country, volleyball, soccer, and just a few hours from now, Dave, we're going to get back on the football field. And that's not to slight any of those other sports, but it feels like it's getting back to where we want to be as a society, as a community. Friends, family can all get together. I know we're not going to have everybody available to come out to the games this week, but we're going to cover them as best we can. There are 6 prep football games this weekend and a couple of scrimmages we're going to talk about as well. But we're here to preview the games, Dave. And, you know, if it seems like we're flying by the seat of our pants, that's because we are.
Well, like I say, you already know how I feel about the polls anyway and the rankings. And for once, you have to agree with me because the rankings and the polls don't matter because they're not real. How can you assess it when we haven't even played any games since 2019? So, fresh start, no polls, no rankings. If I could only see, Rome and Chris Everett. I wish we had that footage right now. Anyhow, if everybody knows about that one there, but we're here to talk about some high school pigskin and who's going to win, who's going to lose. Maybe we'll even get a tie in the first game of the season in the shortened 5 game or 6 game or scrimmage and 5 games.
Yeah, I don't even know. Well, you said that, Dave, and you know how we've played that, overtime tiebreaker thing a little bit because, they decide league titles or whatever. There's no league titles this year, Dave, and it'll be up to people like you and me to decide who the champs are, and not a real championship, just a mythical championship. But you know what? You don't like the polls, so we can make our own this year. We could just say at the end who the best teams are. And I think we know through the East County kind of the pecking order, but there could be some shifts in the next 6 weeks. We've discussed it with just about every team so far in the East County. We've run a series of previews, and we're going to get out there and play these games, Dave. And I can't wait. And I just want to share some news with our fans. If they're joining us here, like I said, it was just a few hours away from kickoff right now. And what are we going to do? How are we going to follow those games? We can't get out to those games. We're not immediate family. We don't have tickets. But, Dave, I just have some exciting news to share with the fans. And I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know what's going to happen first. Our batteries might go dead or they might kick us out of the games. But we plan on going live from all the fields of the East County, or at least as many as we can get to, and bring you those end zone touchdowns, Dave. The technology, that guys that have done over the last 4 or 5 years as these cell phones have gotten better. Dave, we're able to go live now from the field, and I don't know, might look terrible, might look great, but we're going to get as many scores live on cam as we can, and just have a great time with it too. Just rejoiceful that we can get out there on Friday night, socially distanced or not.
Well, I want to share some of our interesting staff members too that we have this year. Quite an interesting, and I want to even go out on a limb, famous ECS staff that volunteered some of their time. One of the legends and one of my favorites, and come to find out, he is his second cousin is actually married to my aunt, my mom's sister, and he always reminds me that the late Bill Dickens, my father, got his gig for him at the Daily Californian, and that's legendary Steve Dolan will be doing kind of his thing that he's done in the past. We're hoping he can provide the old school typing, if you will, writing about the action. He's a statistic guru. We all know that. I mean, he's the best at that craft, and more famously, more recently for the San Diego Padres and keeping stats for them. I mean, that's a gold glove right there. And then we also a couple of famous youngsters from the county. Nathan Temple, former quarterback of the Santana Sultans, that had he was on one of the greatest Santana Sultans football teams ever to play in the county. He's going to also be doing some video and some photos for us. Also, a great friend of mine, Andy Fierro, also has Andrew Fierro Jr., plays for the Christian Patriots, and good friend. I didn't know for a while. I knew the face, but knew my dad for many years, Robert Davila. And we got our good friend Larry. Larry's been with us on and off. Montebello, is it?
Montalbano, yes, Larry Montalbano.
Yeah. He's been.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
He's been doing it for us for
years
quite a while.
Yeah.
The time it's gone by so fast. Even my own son Sebastian Dickens taking over the Instagram again, helping us with the social media, and even he's never left our own homegrown Nick Pellegrino that's been doing it for years, doing it from behind his computer in the out in the East County behind closed doors, but he's definitely putting his effort and putting together some good articles while we're talking about pandemics. He was still writing about sports. So, and yours truly and Ramon Scott, we've kept it together for many years now, and and don't let me forget Ken Todd, another photographer that will be helping us out with the East County. So we got a darn good looking team. I think that and Liz Shaw. Oh my goodness, Liz Shawcroft from Michael Shawcroft's mother, and also her husband coaches over at assistant coach over at Mount Miguel. So I'm so excited not only to be able to cover these games, but to have such a great staff. It's not just me and you, or should I say you and I. We finally got some good backing. It's got some good background, and I'm excited. Let's talk about your game first. That you're going to be going live out there in Lakeside.
Dave, if I can, I know it's getting late, and I know you don't have a lot of time. I just want to reflect a moment before we start, and thank you so very much for keeping me energized over the last year by we didn't go more than just a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks early on in the pandemic without doing a show reflecting on a top flight student athlete or athletic program here in the East County. It's just a credit to you and your family and your determination to keep hope alive and keep the spirit of our East County and Grossmont Conference athletics alive for the past year. So thank you so much. I love you. And I'm just so grateful that you were able to keep me energized and keep me hopeful of starting this season like we are. So thank you very, very much, Dave. And let's get to those games right now. And yes, I think that's a fine place to start. We know that there might be a bigger game or two than this, but I think because of the fact that it's two of our local teams, Dave, I think it might be a nice place to start. And because, Dave, of this special season, there's no parentheses or ranking next to our teams. This is the Steel Canyon Cougars and the El Capitan Vaqueros, two great programs meeting on opening night, kickoff of the 2020 football season, right? We're in 2021, but the 2020 football season, Dave, is going to kick off at 7 o'clock on Friday night. There are 5 games in town, and there's one on Saturday. So let's talk about this one to start. We had both the Cougars and the Vaqueros on in just the last couple of days. Dave, the Cougars are a top 10 team if you go by the legacy rankings currently, probably somewhere around number 8, 9, or 10. But some of the local pundits that you necessarily don't have an affinity for their polls, but the Cougars have slipped a little bit. And the Cougars admit that they might have a younger team going into this season, but I don't think that's a big factor for the Cougars because the Cougars are in a situation where they just kind of reload their talent and personnel. They have a young sophomore running back that looks like a typical great running back that comes up through the Steel Canyon ranks. And we just talked to them earlier tonight. They got a returning quarterback, a top offensive lineman, and of course that Steel Canyon defense that's always so tough. Got to see if those special teams can live up to expectations at Steel Canyon, but this is still the Steel Canyon Cougars, and I think in everyone's mind, the number 2 team in the East County currently, Dave, until proven otherwise.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that honestly, and year in and year out, we overlook some of the talented teams out there in the valley, in the Grossmont Valley, but El Capitan, though, over the years is they've always had such a tough schedule. They've always played top 10 teams in the county, from the likes of Montgomery to Madison. I think we all remember the I want to say, what was that, Madison, that the lights went out, and your favorite of all time, it was Odom to Schicker. I think that was the one. At any rate, lots of memorable games. But they always got those tough teams. They played the likes of Bonita Vista, Coronado, Patrick Henry last year. That started off as a pretty competitive game, but boy, a lot of turnovers in that game early on in the season. I think that's going to be really key for El Capitan to start off this season is to not turn the ball over and play good defense. And I think after talking with them, it sounds like they're going to go down the field. But I have a feeling they if it opens up a passing lane, I think that they're going to play smash mouth football, and they're going to start in the trenches and try to pick it up in chunks with their backs and play good defense. And I think that defensive line, I think they could give the Cougars a little trouble off the edge.
Yeah, we talk about the Cougars' youth and maybe somewhat inexperienced, and the Vaqueros, they actually do have quite a bit of experience returning. They have 4 3-year starters returning on that defense, and we talked to them earlier this week. We didn't have Timothy Hudson on our show, but he's certainly one of the top offensive linemen. He also plays defensive line, but he's definitely one of the top linemen in the East County. And, I think the factor in this game that's going to give El Capitan a chance is the fact that I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't know if we see that Steel Canyon is going to be necessarily an explosive offense, but I think as long as they hold on to the ball, like you said, it could be turnover, it could be the key here in this game, because I think 3 touchdowns will win this game. 2 touchdowns may win this game on Friday night. So just a matter of, taking advantage of any big break that you can get. And El Capitan has a chance to pull off an upset on Friday night, I think. It would be an upset, even though we don't have rankings or necessarily. There's some ratings out. The computer ratings are out. And like I said, Steel Canyon right now in those ratings are in the top 10. And you mentioned the Valley League, Dave, and all the Valley Leagues are kind of right together. So those games will be very interesting in determining which team is the best. But it is kind of interesting that you mentioned, El Capitan and their tough schedule and how, all the Valley teams are kind of matching up, and the Hills League are kind of looking for games, but it was El Capitan that stepped up here to the plate to take on a tougher team in Steel Canyon to open this season. Games were hard kind of to come by. I don't know if this, seems like a good matchup, especially the fact that Steel Canyon's on the road. I think that will equalize it a bit as well. I think what we've heard about the fans being at the game, if they're getting the 4 tickets, I think that's the case, but to get the black and gold crew out there, that'll be exciting too. And I don't know. I just think that this could be a close game. I think everyone expects Steel Canyon to be the favorite and to come out on top. We've seen El Capitan pull off upsets as underdogs in the past, even in the last couple of years.
Well, I think they also you gotta recognize they are playing at home. They do have a newer and a strong defensive coordinator in Sean McDade, and I think he's really placed himself. And I think he is among the top D coordinators in the East County, or top coaches anyway. I mean, he was a head coach for a while over there at and a younger guy, but over at Mount Miguel, and I think he did a fantastic job with the talent that he did have over there. So I think being the defensive coordinator this group over there, I think he's got a couple of tricks up his sleeve, and again, they can get a couple of 3 and outs and play some smash mouth, maybe pick up some big chunks stretching out that offensive line. I think that it could, who knows, could come down to that special teams and kicking that field goal, maybe even a long field goal to win it. Could even go into overtime. I'm going to say Steel Canyon. You're right. They are the favorite, but I'm going to go with the upset, and I'm going to go with El Capitan by 3.
Nice. You got probably a last-second field goal or something, and we've seen El Capitan win thrilling games like that on a field goal. And Antoine Yokley looks like he'll get started quarterback for El Capitan. Taylor Grassman going to be looks like a workhorse ball carrier. So that's why I say I expect a low-scoring game. I expect running in this game. I expect a fast game. I expect a fast clock. I think in the past, maybe these teams were known for a little bit more prolific passing. We know the Vaqueros were, but I think the philosophy will be a little bit different this time around. So
they got a lot of speed, though. I on both sides of the ball. I think that El Capitan that's what's going to keep them in the game. They got a lot of speed, real fast guys, and great skill players.
And we know that the Cougars have big guys up front on defense. So it's going to be up to Hudson and the rest of the Vaqueros to move them aside, keep that ball churning, and that's just going to be great. So excited. I could talk about it all night, but we'll see it live, hopefully. I'll be out there trying to preserve my battery and make sure we see as many live highlights as possible on the East County End Zone show, and that's where I'll be. And I got to make a prediction, so I'll go with the Cougars by a touchdown. I think they can win it by 2 touchdowns, but like I said, I expect it to be a close game. So I'll just say 1 touchdown. I think all the games could be close just because of the circumstances given the situation that we're in. So, Dave, you're going to see certainly what's going to be a top non-league matchup on Friday night. Look at this one, huh? Mission Hills is going to be at Grossmont. And Dave, for the Foothillers, inviting a top opponent in there, what are you expecting?
I'm expecting actually quite a bit of offense in this one. So kind of the opposite of the game that you're going out. I'm looking at there could be a combined score of probably 70 points combined. Very, very easily, with Robert Tucker on the ground. He gonna bring a big threat, and he's definitely a strong downhill runner too, and he hits those holes. And not only is he got the speed, but he can shed a lot of tacklers off too. He's a very strong young man. And then I'm interested to see what we have in behind center with the new gunslinger now that Odom is moved on, but plenty of receivers to throw to with good hands and definitely speedy, and they know their routes, and the fundamentals of those Grossmont teams. They like to go up, and they like to go up quickly, especially against teams like Mission Hills. They want to keep them on their toes. I think Mission Hills is going to come back the same way. I think they're going to come out there. They're going to want to get on the scoreboard quickly and as often as possible. So I think it's really going to end up coming down to who has a better defense and who can hold on to the ball and avoid penalties and turnovers.
Well, definitely Mission Hills still going to be a pretty strong team from what we know. We know that, interestingly, Mission Hills has possibly one of the top defensive backs in the entire county in Elisha Lloyd. He's going to Utah, so that will help neutralize somebody on that Foothiller passing game. And Mission Hill is a pretty strong team. They've got maybe not a lot of players. A lot of teams are fighting through and not maybe having the type of numbers that they're expected, but certainly Mission Hill's certainly going to have some good talent. We know that they've got some returners on defense as well. So like you said, Dave, about the Foothillers, a lot of receivers. I mean, so deep at receiver. That really is kind of interesting. I think it's going to be a low scoring game, but that's just because I don't expect the offenses to be at their best. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you that certainly there is good talent, very strong talent on offense. But I think when you have a guy like Robert Tucker, who 2,000 yards of total offense last year and the 20 touchdowns, I think that they might be able to exercise some ball control, or at least try to, or have to try to. But those Foothiller receivers, I mean, you mentioned them. I mean, they got Max Cadwallader, Chris Cherzan, Adam Richmond, a great group. They lost good receivers last year, but a great group. And of course, we talked to the Foothillers. Remember, we had Blake Keeling on, great defensive lineman. So also Matt Diaz. So good defense by the Foothillers. This is certainly one of the top games in the county this week to start us off. I've got to give the nod to Grossmont at home, Dave, and I'm going to give Grossmont the win here by a field goal.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely go with Grossmont. And I was going to ask you, I mean, with Robert Tucker, even though it's a shortened season, do we see a little bit of he came from Lincoln High years ago. I don't know if you know where I'm headed, and because he did end up in the NFL, made probably one of the biggest plays as a decoy in Super Bowl right here in San Diego with a migraine. But I like to somewhat compare Tucker to Terrell Davis in some of the way he runs, and given a full season, I think he could easily accumulate a 2,000-yard season, especially at this level. And I think that there'll be if he stays healthy and having all this time to work out and put himself in pretty good shape. I think that he's going to get a lot of looks this season, and that's an absolute fact. Probably a top 5 back in the county for sure. I got Grossmont by 10.
All right, and we know that Robert is headed for Cornell, and that's a great honor for him, and we're so proud of him. As far as his style, comparing him to Davis, I like that. I mean, he definitely is great at catching the ball. He's going to be one of the most exciting players, not only in the East County, certainly a Player of the Year candidate, but also in the county. So looking forward to that game. You're going to be out there, Dave, doing our coverage. So that's going to be awesome and it's exciting. And I was, worried about you if they had a lot of scoring, but you've had plenty of.
And I just wanted to say, and I mentioned this to Coach Carlo too, I apologize that I don't know his name well off the top of my head, but the announcer for the Hillers year in year out, such excitement. I don't care if there's only 40 fans out there. He makes it seem like it is the Super Bowl when he's out there on the mic, and he pumps the team up. He pumps up the snack bar. He pumps everybody up. It's really a true football atmosphere. And without that announcer out there in Hillerville, I think it wouldn't be the same experience. It's going to be a great place to be on Friday night.
Well, shout out to Tony Lawrence, the Foothillers public address announcer. He had a pretty good quarterback son that went on to play some good football. And I haven't had a chance. There's a Foothiller podcast out there with Tony. So probably a preview for this game that's better than ours. And probably going to have to look that up. I should have listened to it before this and get the inside scoop on this game. But I think we have it down pretty good.
Well, you also said that we also wondered about Chase. And I saw that you sent retweeted to me Chase's thoughts on things too. Chase Carlo we're talking about, so it was good to see his opinions out there once again.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome game. I guess these teams, they're playing 6 games, and did you want to talk about that, Dave, at all? Some of these teams, with so few opportunities, I was surprised that some of these teams. Let me just tell you, Dave, there are. I believe 2 or 3 scrimmages this week. And with just an opportunity to play 6 games, I thought that everyone would try to take on a real game. But I understand there are probably logistics involved in this. But on Friday, Monte Vista is going to take on Point Loma in a scrimmage. And also on Saturday, the Braves are going to be taking on Santana in a scrimmage. Also Friday night, Westview and Mount Miguel are expected to scrimmage. So there'll be 3 scrimmages that I know of. If we've screwed up this schedule at all, please let us know. We're going to cover the rest of these varsity games. We think they're being played. It's kind of sketchy in a way, but who cares? I mean, we're excited. And we probably should cover the scrimmages like we do a real game, because it's just such an honor and a privilege to be out there. But we'd only have so many people. But you know what I mean.
Well, we're as I mentioned before, that's why I wanted to do a shout out. As I think we're growing more than we have in the past, and and that's why I was real proud to get their names out there and just thank them for dedicating their time to our craft and just the love of sports. And just want to say one more thing. Any Grossmont game. Coach Carlo, he's been out there for a while now since his departure from Mount McGill, and boy, has he put up quite a few wins. And I definitely think he can be referred to as one of the top offensive gurus out there in the East County, and definitely don't take anything away from his athletes, but he definitely is a very crafty with his playbook.
Yeah, can't wait to see that. We know Mission Hills can do some things as well. Dave, the top game in the county this week, it's one of the top games in the county this season. It's going to be number 1 Helix hosting the St. Augustine Saints, probably ranked around maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 from what we're seeing right now. But nonetheless, these 2 rivals are going to go at it. They played twice last season. A couple of exciting games. We spoke to the Helix Highlanders just a couple of nights ago as they prepared for this game, and
they're licking their chops.
Yeah, it's going to be Well, they are, but the Saints are too. And I do have concerns about Helix. They are going to probably be starting a freshman at quarterback. He's no ordinary freshman from all indications, but they also have the rest of the Highlanders. We know they got the Highlanders are stacked. Let's face it. Other than I'm not saying that not at every position, but the Highlanders are stacked. Even though some players chose not to play, we knew that they were going to get those top transfers in there, but those players have elected to prepare themselves for their college football season, and you can't fault them for that. So Helix has Christian, big moves Washington, and I don't care if Christian has no moves. He's got the best nickname we've seen out here in a long time. And we talked to the rest of the Highlanders. Great set of linemen, no doubt about it, Dave. And going to have a top matchup in that game with the Saints and Helix, especially down in the trenches. You're going to have, for Helix, Sean Martinez, the Southwest Minnesota State-bound lineman, going up against, some of the time, at least, we hope to see him. Sometimes they line up on the opposite side, but Grayson Halton of Saints. And Saints, certainly a good team, and this is going to be a top ball game.
Yeah, but, I remember Coach Robbie Owens, too, saying that, really the only – if there ever was a weak spot on this Scotty's team, is the special teams is questionable, was pretty much how he put it. They needed to put some work into the special teams, and that's where some teams that can cost you ball games if they don't play top notch, or whether it's a run back, whether it's a long field goal, a muff punt, or maybe not even punting it far enough, or kicking it into the end zone. So hopefully, I think they'll tweak that and get that in shape. But it sounded to me also like there might be a similar quarterback situation as last year. There might be, we might see two different quarterbacks rotating. Probably who you were referring to will get. He'll get most of the snaps, but I could very well see a rotation, and it worked. It worked well for him last year, and got plenty of receivers, tight ends. They were referring to their tight ends too as being very helpful, not only catching the ball, but I'm sure they're going to be working their tails off for the backs that they have as well. So Helix, top talent as usual every year. Same thing with Saints. This one, I think this one's going to be down to the wire. I don't see either one of them blowing each other out. They're always pretty close. I am going to take, though, Helix by 1.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to go Helix just by a couple of points in this one. I think they're favored. They're at home. I don't know. They're the number one team in the county. They're ranked in the state. But, man, Saints have a lot of returning players. And, Rylan Jesse, everyone thinks that, everyone's saying he looks great. He's a young man. He's a freshman, but he's very big for a freshman. He has a lot of experience. And, quarterback doesn't win football games. We know that, especially at Helix. They have talent all over the field. But Saints maybe have a little bit more experience on offense. So I think Saints are very competitive in this game. Wouldn't surprise me if Saints, upset the Highlanders. But I think the Highlanders can do it at home. I'm not picking against the Highlanders first game out of the pandemic. Of course not. Going with Helix.
Well, all I gotta say, as I spoke earlier when we were talking with the Cougars, and I'll give that quote back to Coach Robbie Owens. Is I agree with him. Put that Grossmont Hills League against many other leagues throughout the county, and Helix being at the top, definitely can. They can play with the big boys for sure.
Yeah, and like we talked about with the Cougars, the Highlanders and Cougars are set to meet twice this season, but they're trying to do something about that. So if by chance anybody out of the region here saw this broadcast, just want to let the Helix is looking and the Steel Canyon Cougars are looking for opponents in 6 weeks so they don't have to play each other twice, even though it's going to be neat if they do. And no one's going to complain. And a split would be great for the teams as well. Be equal. They're both very good teams, but they don't want to necessarily do it twice this year. It's okay if they play each other in the regular season and then have to meet in the playoffs. That's cool. But when you only get 6 games, you're looking to play another opponent in this special season. So, okay, Dave.
Maybe they could get Cathedral Catholic down here.
Yeah, I think I don't know. There was some discussion why it didn't we couldn't work out the Gauntlet series this year. So at least we get one part of the Gauntlet series with Saints and Helix. I'm talking about the 3 teams: Saints, Cathedral, and Helix, widely regarded as round robin, the kind of the best teams. But there are some other top teams near the top of the polls. Lincoln making a lot of noise again in the early season. And again, Dave, you hate polls, you're down on polls, but this year we're going to have to do polls because that's the only thing we're going to have to determine who the best teams are. And we might just rank the teams in the East County. And I think interesting, we could see some movement among the East County teams a little bit. Like I said, if I went Helix 1, Steel 2, the Eagles, and we'll talk about them in a moment, the Eagles are kind of like the team on the rise again. So, okay, Dave, just want to cover 2 other games on Friday. We don't know that much about these teams, so we're just going to tell you about these games, and maybe we can fill in the blanks later after we see them. But look at this, Dave. The Foothills Christian Knights are back in 11-man football. We haven't spoken with the Knights yet. Coach Joe Mackey has brought this team. They dominated 8-man football. They won nearly every game for the last couple of years. The championships, they dominated out there. Foothills Christian, a dominant team. Dave, they never wanted to necessarily go back to 8-man football. It's just that's what happened. They just the numbers weren't there. So apparently, because of the success they had, maybe they've gotten the numbers back up. I'm not sure, but they're taking on a very good program in Army-Navy, the Army and Navy Academy. So this one's at Junior Seau Field on Friday night. Pretty sure that this is a regular game and not a scrimmage. Anybody set me straight, just send me a DM or a message if we missed anything on this first week schedule, because we've kind of had to piecemeal it together. Because some people have their schedules wrong or not entered on the different websites. But I think it's just neat, Dave, that Foothills Christian is back in 11-man football. We've done the best we can to cover them. We just don't hear that much from them. But we do know this, that they were the best 8-man football team for the last couple of years, bar none.
Well, and we've heard Army Navy. One of our teams have played them recently. I believe if it wasn't last year, it was the year before. Mountain Empire took on Army Navy in a playoff a playoff game, and I believe won that game about, I want to say, maybe 2 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, but we did have an encounter with Army Navy, and it was nice to see that our boys way out there from Mountain Empire, the Red Hawks, were red hot that night.
Well, I tell you what, Dave, I'd love to go out to Seau Field and see this 11-man football game. I'm being Lakeside. If by chance one of those 2 teams gets way out in front, I don't know which one. Could be the Cougars, could be the Vaqueros. Not going to say it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a close game. But if that game gets away, I might hit the road. Might go over to drive real fast to Seau Field and try to catch the end of this one. We'll see. I'd love to get someone out there at Foothills Christian if we could and see that game. So also, Dave, we'll kind of reserve comment on this. I don't know if you want to make a pick. I'm going Foothills Christian. I mean, on that game. But Dave, Mountain Empire, we're going to talk to them tomorrow as they get ready for their schedule. But it looks like they got a tough game in Maranatha Christian. So we can maybe reserve a pick here. I just wanted to get this show in here because we're getting so close to kickoff. But we were going to talk to the Red Hawks on Thursday. But this should be a good game. Maranatha Christian, I believe it's at Mountain Empire. We'll find out more tomorrow. But you've been a little bit in contact with the Red Hawks, and they're fired up, like everybody.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, head coach Bernard Van, I was just getting ready to give him a call after I spoke to Coach Longerbone this morning, and lo and behold, he ended up contacting me first, and he asked me, due to the shortened season, I just wondered if East County Sports is going to include the Red Hawks in your weekly reports, and also if we send in some of our stuff. I said I'd be more than happy to run anything that the Red Hawks send us, and we definitely want to do a preview with you. Uh, you always when we talk about the Red Hawks, you refer to back in the Daily Californian days of meeting halfway out there and dropping the newspapers out there so they could grab the sports section and read about their red hot Red Hawks out there from Mountain Empire.
Yeah, so we'll find out more about the Red Hawks tomorrow, but this looks like a tough test for them no matter what. But if they're at home, like it says here, I think that's certainly to their advantage. Maranatha will have to go a long, long way to travel for that game. So that could be to an advantage for them. So we're going to make this a quick show, David. Gives us 4 or 5 more minutes. I say quick show. I kept John here 45 minutes. But, Dave, we got one more Grossmont Conference game, and hey, the rivalry is back on, okay? This is the Granite Hills Eagles and the Valhalla Norsemen. And look at this. Is this start time right? I hope it is, or I wish it was Friday. I don't care. Saturday at 5:30, we'll check to make sure. That's the time and date I've seen, though, published for several days now, or even a week or two, and that should be cool. It's out at Valhalla. I'd probably be on the Orange Network, Orange Nation TV or whatever. So I'll be watching, or I might go out there. I'd like to go. I think I want to go out there and see Granite Hills and Valhalla. And watch out for Valhalla, Dave. I'm just so sorry that we still can't we're not with Valhalla. I mean, we're going to try to cover them as best we can. We, invite them to be a part with us, but hey, watch out for Valhalla, Dave. We spoke to the Eagles. I'll let you cover them, but let me just talk about Valhalla. They have 10 starters back this season, and Luke Pillsbury, plenty of experience at quarterback. I mean, Luke is, this is his senior year now, so he's got good receivers, veteran receivers, Marsalis Childs, Gavin Nagel, Miles Thompson, and they've got Alan Kalasho on the offensive line, Samar Faraj. The Norsemen, they might be the official sleeper in this whole situation. They got some good experienced defensive players as well, Giovanni Alejo and also Bashar Noor. So I say watch out for the Norsemen in this game against the Eagles. But I already said earlier the Eagles are the fastest rising team, and I stand by that too. If you look at the polls, Dave, not the computer polls, but those outside polls, it's almost like the Cougars and the Eagles have switched places or roles, if you will. It's the Eagles that some people have moved into the top 10 in the county. Shh.
Well, I'll tell you what, all that stuff you were saying about Valhalla, I was about ready to support my alumni, go upstairs and grab my Eagles hat and put it on. Because I tell you what, with all of that top heavy senior leadership coming back this season, all those returners they have, and the few that we talked to, and after talking to Coach Kellen Cobbs, and especially on the offensive side of the ball, Justice has got plenty of people to throw to, and having all the time to condition himself, and all the throwing that he did in the offseason, and being so well disciplined, I think that's going to be a tough offense to stop. And I don't think that they're going to just be running the ball either, or even using his legs as often as you typically would see from a Granite Hills quarterback. I think that they're going to let him go, throw a couple of those deep balls. We saw it we saw it in 2019 Zach Burton, one of the best catches of the year that year against the Steel Canyon Cougars. And you never know. I just see that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with on the offensive side of the ball in particular. But they always have a defense. They have a top defense every single year. And if I look at the team as a whole, and after speaking with them, I think the Granite Hills Eagles, you say the Valhalla is a sleeper. I think that the Eagles could be at the when it's all said and done after these 6 games, they could be at the top and maybe with 1 loss or no losses. I'm going with Granite Hills by 14.
And I'll go with the Eagles as well. I'll go with the Eagles by a touchdown in this one. I'll just say for the record that I dedicate myself to all of these East County teams equally, even though I'm a Highlander, and I just don't get as much information from Valhalla as I do the other teams. But that doesn't mean that I don't support the Norsemen wholeheartedly and love going out there. And I just might go out there on Saturday night football in the East County, Dave. Awesome. So
we
that's
love
it
our buddy
for
out there too. Anyway, and don't forget, we love our buddy out there, Mr. John Owens and his team, and the way he does Orange Nation TV.
Well, that's just it. I mean, they've got a great media situation out there, so they handle everything themselves, no problem. But I'm still following the Norsemen, all their sports as best I can. And a lot of times I can just watch them on YouTube, put them right on the TV. So let me cover it again, Dave, real quick about our new show on Friday night before we talk about your sponsors, okay? This is not going to be your typical football broadcast. It's not going to be, high above with cameras all over and announcers. I mean, we'll be there talking. It's going to be like this. It's going to be you and me talking on screen and then showing the game as it kind of gets close to us. I don't think the phones can pick it up that well when the ball's out there kind of near midfield. The team areas are spread out this year, Dave, all the way to the 10-yard line. We may not have access into the team box because of that. We may have to walk around the team box. Whatever the case may be, might be tough to get close to the action. But
we're
when the team gets down into the red zone, we're going to be making sure we got those cameras on live and bring you the East County end zone and try to get all these scores. If anything, you kind of combine like the red zone a little bit with like a sideline reporter, and that's what you're going to see on Friday night. You and me talking about not only the games we're at, but I'm going to be monitoring all the action from around the county. We're going to try to bring in our other reporters as well from their games to show their scores if they can, or talk to them at least and get some live updates. I'm going to be updating all the scores live, and not only from the East County, but from around the county as well. And we'll be going kind of on and off the air a little bit, making sure that we have enough battery. I mean, we got backups and everything. We don't know how long the game's gonna be 2.5 hours. Bring your umbrella Friday night just in case, Dave.
A little rain never won't melt anybody, and maybe we'll get one of our teams up there, in the North County this year, and love to see Coach Quintero up there and him and Braden doing a broadcast and step in and say hi to those guys too. And hopefully one of our teams playing one of those guys. I'd love to see those gentlemen. Always a real treat. I've ran into them a couple times up there in Mira, and that was it was real fun. Before I forget, we got our picks in. We got everybody wrapped up on reviews with the exception. Please remember, tomorrow we still have one more team. We have the Mountain Empire Redhawks that will be joining us with Coach Van tomorrow at 8 p.m. And look out for the infamous fearless forecaster that always will be showing up tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, sometime, and as well as
I'm
special
gonna call your
thanks to.
dad tonight. I'm gonna call your dad tonight. I'm gonna ask him about the picks. I'm gonna tell him about this pandemic, and I have a feeling that what he says about the pandemic is the same thing that you've been telling me for the last year.
Yeah, I think he would have been a little more clean about it, but at any rate, and I remember what Coach Beezer said, and in reference to the to Christian's first game, which I believe is a scrimmage. I think in that game,
Yeah, they might be scrimmaging. I forgot to mention them. I'm sorry. I forgot.
and that's why I'm. I think that the big dog will be coming off the port. He used to make reference to that to Beezer, and so good luck to Christian as well. And a special thanks to all of our sponsors, longtime sponsors.
Yeah.
And I want to also make sure we get it right. We've called it different things. Monica Rios, Marcurios. We want to get it right. I'm gonna see Pat Villani this year, but everybody else, stop in and see Pat Villani. It's one of the premier Italian food places in. I don't see indoors yet, but they're busy as heck preparing food to go. The finest Italian food, great pizza. I can attest to that for sure. Nicolosi thing, the Burners, another location, Fifth Avenue downtown. I believe they have a third one too. Don't know about that one yet, but I do know that they're working their tails off down at their newer location downtown off of Fifth. And manufacturing to the Coit brothers played at Granite Hill. That's some baseball. And Retro Sport has been phenomenal year in, year out with helping us out with our great shirts and any of our ECS gear. Even got some ECS masks that we'll be wearing on the sidelines too with our Vegas gold, as they call it. Al Sports Shop, best customer service you can possibly get when you walk into Al's. He treats you like family. Then we're talking about Rob Treadwell, and then San Diego Kings right around the corner. Looks like they could be playing at any time. And let's not forget our good buddy Scott Hoppy Hopgood at H12 Sports Academy, and he's got his own podcast himself. So a lot of things happening over there for Hoppy, and definitely wanted to shout out to him. And I been meaning to go out there, and you know what? If you need any type of work on swinging the bat at any age, improving your pitching arm, you definitely want to go see Hoppy and his staff. They work wonders over there. I've seen it personally. Thank you so much for all of our longtime advertisers. Thank you, my good friend Ramon, for being my producer and putting up with my garbage for now. We're going on 4 years. And
I just want to, Dave. I just want to, real quick, before
politics.
Before you get out of here, I want to clean that up where I said Christian. I'll let you do the outro, but and I'll make you laugh with this one. I'm gonna get one more political commentary out of you, and then no more politics for the rest of high school sports season. You and I agree. But Dave, Christian does have a scrimmage, of course, this week. They are going to be, and I'll say this. How can I say this? They are going to be taking on the school that is soon to be named the Canyon Hills Rattlers. Do you know what that means?
Sarah High Conquistadors.
You said it. I don't think you could say that anymore. But I guess for the rest of this school year, they still are that team. But
hey, Washington Redskins. Okay, but go ahead.
the soon-to-be Canyon Hills Rattlers will be taking on Christian in a scrimmage. Okay, Dave. And as far as the name, the school name, everybody's making fun of poor Canyon Hills High, but I will say this because they're saying, it's a canyon and it's hills. How can it be both? But I will say this, that El Cajon Valley High and Granite Hills, I think, are at the same elevation. So
I want to say one thing, and he's a staff member, but I won't say his name because I don't want to get him into any hot water. If it was me, then I would own it. But a funny one to add to that, Canyon Hills. He said to me, "Well, what if I'm offended though by snakes? I'm offended by snakes. So are we going to change the name? I'm offended by snakes and talking about snakes."
Yeah, and there's a school in Arizona that has almost the exact same name. I can't think of it right now, but they're like the Canyon something Rattlers. But that's okay. That's in another conference. Even though I've kind of wanted to add them, them and Henry, I think they can be part of East County. But we're going to have a hard time enough these next 3 months covering all of these sports at once. We'll get together each week and preview these football games, though.
And then don't forget, you also have the travel ball team Rattlers that have been around for quite a bit.
There you go.
Just saying. So with that being said, we got lots of basketball coming up. They're going to be, from what I understand, according to credible sources, one of them being from Monte Vista High School, will be practicing starting on kickoff night which is tonight for basketball, and we also on the 23rd of March, according to Coach Coit and the Mount McGill Matadors, they'll be playing their first game for baseball. And stay tuned because we're going to get you some softball action as well. Like Christian and El Capitan is always very competitive too. So
many sports.
We got our work cut out for us, but stay tuned, folks. Thank you for listening to us go on and listening to our picks, and stay tuned tomorrow for the Red Hawks from Mountain Empire. For Ramon Scott, I'm Dave Dickens. Thank you and good night.